But while all this is real, a profounder reality must open within your heart. That deep down the real I am is not dependent on anything. Therefore, whatever you are accomplishing in your day-to-day life, don't attribute it to your ego. Attribute it to God within you. Don't pat your ego, oh, how wonderful, I have done all this. Om Vasudevasutam Devam 𝗓𝗠𝗎 Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 5, chapter is entitled Karma-sannyasa yoga, gives you insight into karma leading to sannyasa. Karma is life of action. You are always involved with activity. Even when you are not using your hands and you seem to sit quiet, yet you are involved in karma. Because karma has three factors: thought, word, and deed. So indeed you are silent. You are not doing anything. Indeed. Words, you are not speaking. Anything now, you are doing nothing. Thoughts are going on. So karma goes on in life. And yet your project is to be free of karma. If that insight were to develop, you are developing now a movement towards sannyasa. Sannyasa means renouncing all limitations. So much so that in an enlightened state, you are completely free of karmas. At the same time, karmas continue freely. Both are free. The simple illustration, the sky. The sky is free. But the clouds are also free. They can go whichever way. If they all want to be dark and dreary, let them be. If they all want to be silvery and shiny, let them be. The sky remains untouched. So that's sannyasa. The state of enlightenment looks like that. Not with your eyes, that's a matter of understanding. In practice, your attention has to turn towards integral yoga. How to plan your activity in such a way, firstly, your actions bring to you real success. You are constructive, not wasting your energy through all types of activity. You are able to perform your actions with dexterity. If you lack that dexterity, you take up a project and it lingers on for a whole month. And the quality of the project becomes very poor. If you have skill in action, you will surprise people, accomplishing all that project in the shortest period of time. maybe within a week, maybe within a half a week, maybe by even a single day. All depends. So if you are turning your action into a skillful project, that's one aspect of karma yoga. Another aspect, chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. Internally you feel you have not accomplished anything. You don't need to. Because your project is to be united with God within yourself. So how much closer are you coming to God? That's your focus. That's the primary objective behind your karma. Every project you take it, you do it the best, but not fooled by the project. Fooled by the project means your people do not have anything else to expect but to see their projects bring fruits in the world of time and space. What they don't realize, no matter however much successful you may have been and made enormous changes externally, all this is limited by time. You may have created a wonderful mango grove and full of mangoes, full of blossoms, full of all that. But you have to always understand that that's good success. You see the mango trees, you see the blossoms, you see the fruits. But you don't be fooled. Anytime a big monkey is coming in there. The biggest monkey is time. Time will destroy it all. But that should not obstruct your involvement in action. So while you take your duties, do your best, do not ignore the reality that your real attainment is not in the world of time and space. If that is so, the question, why should you do the duties? Why should you go after all that? Because by doing that perfectly, you are allowing your heart to relax. When your heart relaxes, you come closer to your deeper self, what you are. What you are is the divine self. Always follow the simple simile. The jiva, the soul, is like a reflected sun. The reality of the soul is the sun, shining sun. When you are doing your duties well, the reflected sun finds itself in clearer water. Your mind is clear, relaxed. Then the reflected sun discovers that it's related to that big sun. It is not related to the pot, or the fishes, or the frogs, or whatsoever may be within the pot. I'm using allegorical language. The reflected sun is your soul within you, your idea, this is me. But this me within you is not related to anger, hate, greed, all the limitations of your personality. It is related to the sun, God. God who has evolved the entire universe. God who is the reality behind the whole universe. Performing actions for that type of revelation, simpler words is Chitta Shuddhi. Karma Yoga is meant to promote purity of heart. And purity of heart opens the window to enlightenment. So therefore, your attention is directed in two areas. Action, performing action. The goal, realizing I am that. I am not confined to the pot. I am not the shaky reflection. I am that eternal, unchanging, effulgent sun. I'm speaking allegorical language. So that revelation is sannyasa. I am not the doer. I am not the enjoyer. I do not depend upon this world. The world is just a big illusion. The sun does not depend upon all the illuminations of this world. To human mind, it creates a lot of poetry. Look at the day-to-day illumination created by the sun. You can write poetry about this rising sun, about the rainbows, or the birds flying in the sky with their wings shimmering in the light of the sun. All this you can describe. But all this is big illusion. The reality behind all this is the sun. That sun is your goal. Realizing who am I? I am not the reflected self, shaking along with the mind, but I am the absolute self with boundless effulgence, embodiment of fullness. Now this point will be made clearer in 21st verse. Vahyasparsheshu asaktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sa brahma yoga yuktatma 𝗧𝗱𝗏 is the 21st verse of the 5th chapter of the Gita. If the mind is not attached to the external objects of the world, Vahya Sparsh Asaktatma, if your Atma, if your inner awareness of me, awareness of I, if it is not glued, touched, or restricted by external objects, this is the description of liberation. If you become detached from the world, one attains the bliss of the self. Absolute detachment from the world. Using allegorical language is absolute attachment to God. Detach and attach is a simple formula of a spiritual movement. Detach, practice of vairagya, dispassion. Attach, practice of bhakti, devotion. Uncling yourself from the world, cling to God. But you have to go on understanding the point. You don't cling to God. You simply discover you are essentially the divine self. Let me dramatize that for simple understanding. Think of the sky in two aspects. The sky, just the real one, unaffected by the clouds, untouched. And think of a patch of blue, a piece of the sky. That patch has been created by clouds. As you look up, sometimes clouds gather, then you find little patches of the sky defined by circling clouds. As those clouds come closer, the patch is getting squeezed. As they expand, the patch expands. Think of your soul as a patch of blue. It's constantly dependent upon the clouds and their movements. And it has a unique capacity to rule over the clouds. If that capacity is not recognized, then you are ruled by the clouds. Ruled by the clouds means you are ruled by your mind. Then you are in a state of bondage. If you discover the spiritual potentiality of ruling over the mind, now you have followed a spiritual movement. And your goal becomes to realize, first to realize I am being squeezed by clouds. Apparently I am at the mercy of the clouds. But deep down I am the sky. Let me therefore adopt the simple method. Detach from this sky, from the clouds, attach to the sky. Oh, big sky, adorations to you. Bring me closer to yourself. Why have you ignored me? Attach to God and detach. You, drifting clouds, you don't belong to me. All of you are just big illusion. Nothing exists, nothing belongs to me. So, I'm washing my hands out of you. Detach. The detaching process is not one simple act. In life, you go on progressive movement. How much can you detach? That will depend upon how much attached you are to a deeper reality within. If you don't have a deeper support, your detachment becomes shaky. Just like sometimes a sick person is detached from the chair, but he doesn't know whether it should stand or fall. He's shaking. In other words, practice of detachment is directly proportional to practice of attachment to God. And attachment of God, again understand, is a realizing your essential nature. Coming closer for the reflected sun in a jar, to the attaining the revelation, I am the sun. That revelation is not a junction of the reflected sun and the sun. You don't see that. Reflected sun goes up, up, up. And then shakes hands with the sun. That will be extreme stupidity. Soul within you has the same predicament. It's the reflected sun. Coming closer to God is just like the reflected sun were to tune itself to the real sun. All objects of the world, it seems everyone in this world in a state of ignorance depends upon objects. But how much are you really dependent upon them? Your mind has to come to a higher level of understanding. You cannot really depend upon the objects. Firstly, the objects are illusory. Secondly, you are absolute. You are the sky. How can the sky shake hands with clouds? How can it depend upon clouds? This point has to go on developing within your heart. In the practical world, we are always dependent upon the world. You want things to happen in a particular way. Your adversity must move away. Prosperity must come. Misunderstandings must dissolve. Your heart must be filled with a relaxed view of life. All this is real. But while all this is real, a profounder reality must open within your heart. That deep down, the real I am is not dependent on anything. Therefore, whatever you are accomplishing in your day-to-day life, don't attribute it to your ego. Attribute it to God within you. Don't pat your ego, oh, how wonderful, I have done all this. But in every achievement, recognize God has led me. As me within you becomes increasingly transparent, flexible, the soul within you begins to shine brighter and brighter. That's the meaning of Nama. Adorations, you are shedding I. Neither me nor mine. If we have come to that type of understanding, there is neither me, the little I is not the reality. And the little I-related possessions, they have no reality either. Just like in your dream, there is a little I from you is caught in a dream world. It is depending upon so many objects of the world. How do you wake up? By saying Nama to the dream. I am not the dream subject. This whole world of the dream is not mine. And that's the awakening mantra. Similarly, there is the mantra Nama. This I that brings all the worries and anxieties and all the tension, that I is not real me. That I is, let me offer that I to God. Surrendering the I within yourself. At the same time, not neglecting any performance of your duty. Rather, viewing God as the source of inspiration. Performing all your duties for worshipping God. So that the heart, the window of the heart opens. So that the soul within you begins to realize I am a ray of God. And continues to develop attunement until there is absolute revelation. I am that. And that's what the Gita says. That when the mind is not attached to these external objects, one attains the bliss of the self. Having become immersed In the yoga of Brahman, one attains inexhaustible peace. Yoga term means union. The union word is allegorical, because union gives you the idea two things come together. When the reflected sun and the real sun come together, two things are not coming together. When the dream subject and the waking subject come together, two things are not coming together. When the soul within you unites with God, it's a language, allegorical. It simply means the soul is realizing, I am not this limited self, I am Brahman. The actual definition of yoga is viyoga. Viyoga means separation. Separating yourself from illusion. That's real yoga, and Gita has defined that way. And that, when you begin to be immersed in that type of union, a revelation, I am not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, not the ego. I am that. But while you are listening to me, first your intellect is trying to grab it and trying to rehearse it. But when it is confined to your intellect level, it's good, it's pointing a finger, but in itself that is not the goal. It's just like, to give you a very simple way to understand. You have come to your bed to sleep. Now, dramatize in a foolish way. I have the bed. It's a time to sleep. All these distractions have moved away. I'm lying upon it. The blanket is right over my nose. As long as you are dramatizing, you are not sleeping. But it is helping you. The dramatization stops, and suddenly you slip into deep sleep. At that time, there is no dramatization, no description. Try to think of a positive counterpart of sleep. Sleep is a negative experience because you don't have your control over it, you are led to it. If you were to bring to your heart that type of experience of absolute silence, boundless tranquility, absence of the world of time and space, absolute. There you are. You are invoking that mystic sleep, which is samadhi. Samadhi that brings the highest enlightenment. And just like going to sleep is potential in every individual. Every day you can go to sleep. Every day you can go to union with God. Every moment you can be aware. All this is Brahman. I am that. I am the Absolute. Nothing exists. Deep within your heart, that experience surges on. But if the mind is not enlightened, then you are distant from that experience. Just like if your mind is stressful, you are on the bed, you have everything before you, but you are far from your sleep. But the moment that stress moves away, you don't even know you have slipped into sleep. The moment the clutter that ego has created in your mind moves away, you are nothing but in tune with God or immersed in absolute silence. That silence is not an empty experience. It is an experience of fulfillment. All your desires are fulfilled in a magical way. Whenever a desire is fulfilled, there is a little touch of joy. And that joy doesn't stay. But here is a fulfillment that is absolute. Not of one desire, two desires, but millions of desires that you have sustained through millions of lives, and which you will continue to pursue if you don't attain enlightenment. In the state of enlightenment, all those desires have been fulfilled with one blast. Therefore, it's the experience of boundless bliss, ananda. And that's the goal of everyone. That's called liberation. 𝗧𝗚𝗃 imperishable joy is attained. 𝗚𝗚 संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनयैवते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः. The enjoyments attained by the contact of the senses with their objects are the progenitors of pain, are the producers of pain. They have a beginning and an end. Therefore, O son of Kunti, Arjuna, the wise do not delight in them. All experiences of pleasure that arise on the basis of your senses contacting the objects, as long as you are not enlightened. All human experiences are on the basis of dependence. You are depending on your physical body. You are depending upon your subtle body made up of mind and senses. You are depending upon your causal body that contains all the subtle impressions. There is always dependence. Dependence-based experience is called sansparshaja bhoga, enjoyment arising out of contact. You are in contact with the subtle body, with the physical body, with the causal body. All, in another way of saying, as long as you are dependent upon Prakriti, nature, with the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, or dependent upon the world that has three planes, three lokas, earthly loka, bhur-loka, the world of your senses, bhuvar-loka, the world of your sentiments, swar-loka, the world of your intellect, understanding. As long as you are depending upon these, you are trapped in a world of Maya. You are subject to this cycle of birth and death. And thereby you are subject to unimaginable misery, life after life. So as long as your enjoyments are based on contact, mind and senses contacting the objects of the world, so long you are gripped by pain. And giving a simple rationality, because all those experiences have a beginning and an end. Think of yourself. No matter how your situation is at present. If you are at present, you are feeling very successful, blossoming, glorious. Imagine there was a beginning. This condition was not there some years back. You were just a baby crawling. And no matter how successful and powerful you have become, it's not going to stay. It will not end by 10 or 15 years. So suppose it continue to live long, and my blessings live on and on. But don't be fooled. There is an end to it. So no matter how wondrous life you might have lived, it ultimately ends. And when it ends, as if it never happened. Mind must always, therefore, have a kind of vivek, a discriminative understanding that how wonderful God has given me all this. Situation is wonderful, life is moving gloriously. That's one aspect. At the same time, your mind must develop. All this is like clouds. I am like the sky. I am a ray of God. I am one with God. I am not dependent upon any of this. All this is Maya. Allow both to be blended in your daily life. In a practical way, you are handling everything as if it is absolute reality. Deep down, you are the akasha, the sky. No matter how things happen, I am with God. God needs nothing. He has created the entire universe. What are we looking about? Little things of this earth. The earth itself is a little grain of sand in this cosmos. In this grain of the sand, which grain are you looking for? So all things have beginning and an end. And your goal is to be timeless. A timeless attainment. I am that. So do not delight in them, implying do not become dependent on them. You can, pleasant things have come to you, be happy. But don't let your whole heart be immersed. That happiness will pass. Unpleasant things have come. It gives you pain. Look for how can you resolve it. Practical reality must be faced. But deep down, as if you are relaxing on a mystic couch, transcending all, enjoying a deep slumber. Then we say you are delighted, real delight comes. That delight is not in the objects of the world. Shankaracharya, giving commentary on this, he says, samsare sukhasya gandhamatram api na asti In this world, the world where we go on living life after life, achieve so many things, and your heart becomes gad-gad, full of joy. That's it. All this is big illusion. Because the samsara, this world experience, does not contain even a drop of real happiness. So, this point has to enter the mind. Should the mind always go after and be gripped by an illusion where there is not even a drop of happiness? No matter how wonderful things you may achieve, it's not going to stay. You are left with the same dull-wit mind the way you started. Therefore, mind must be led to para-vairagya, supreme dispassion. There is not a drop of happiness here. The real attainment is revelation. I am that. Nothing else counts. Shaknoti haiva yah sodham praksharira vimokshana kamkrodhodbhavam vegam sa yukta sa sukhi nara. One who is able to master every impulse of desire and anger, even at the time of departing from the body, he is verily a yogi and a blissful person. Simple point is being brought to you, that this attainment of liberation, the highest goal, has to be accomplished within your lifetime. Firstly, you need to know that any purushartha, self-effort, is possible only when you are alive, either in this body or another body, wherever. There has to be a body. So, it is not going to happen to you after death. In other words, if during the living condition you have not worked out your liberation, death is not going to make any change. It simply puts you to a pause until you get another body. Therefore, here again, the vast majority of people have terrible confusion. That people become Mahatmas, saints, after they are dead. And that also it becomes on the basis of big discussion. On a majority vote. A person in his lifetime never knew. That's a terrible situation. Goal is to be realized in your life. It's a matter of experiencing it, not dreaming about it. While you are alive, effort must continue as long as there is breath. Even at the time of the last breath, if you were to accomplish this task, even at that time, if you didn't accomplish it when you were young or when you were at 50 and life went on and you were progressing, by 75 you didn't accomplish it, 80 you didn't accomplish it, but you are growing. It happened to suddenly accomplish it and kick the bucket. You have attained success. no matter how you did it, when you did it. But once you have attained liberation in life, in the middle of life, or even at the close end of life, you have attained the goal. And simple point, there are 3 gates to hell and 4 gates to liberation. 3 gates to hell is kama, krodha, lobha. Kama, desire. More specialized way is a pleasure. Mind going after sex pleasure. That's highlighted aspect. Otherwise, kama relates to lust, anger, greed, hate, jealousy. All these are described in the terms of desire. And that's a gate to hell. But I have given a generalized understanding of the gate. But that gate is extended. Desire is a highlight of impurities. Close to desire is anger. Whenever desire is interrupted, agitation develops in the mind. And as agitation goes on developing in the mind, your will becomes very weak. With weakened will, greed develops. Greed is a psychological state of weakness. On one side, you feel you don't deserve the object you are after. On the other side, you can't live without it. Turning to the objects of the world with a sense of humiliation, a sense of slavery, then that's called greed. On the other hand, turning to the objects of the world with a deeper, profounder state of mind, this situation, this object is needed by me for my evolution. I'm going to get it. That's not greed. I need to pass my examination. That's not greed. But when you say that and I'm not prepared for your examination, and you're saying, if I could pass by hook or by crook, it will be wonderful. The mind is not turning to greed. Kama, krodha and lobha, they are interconnected. Desire, anger, and greed. These 3 make your life miserable. You are moving away from all that is positive until you find yourself in lingering chaos day by day. It's hell. Counteracting this hell, there are 4 points that Yoga Vasishtha talks about. Shama, serenity of mind. Day by day highlight that attainment. Can I stay balanced and look at things in an objective way without agitating the mind? Serenity. Go on asserting it, telling yourself that I have shaken off all agitation of the mind. Tell lies. Telling lies to your own mind is perfectly okay in spirituality. Called affirmation. Next quality, santosh, contentment. Do not go on comparing yourself with others. See how wonderful clothes the others have and I don't. How wonderful ornaments others have. talents others have, and all those, and then go on creating your mind in a state of stress. Rather, I'm created in the image of God. And God is my potentiality. And I have all the resources needed by me for attaining it. Because God has created me. So you do not have to look up to others, how others have so much wonderful things and I don't. Rather, you understand everyone is in this creation, led by God. And each one is being led according to their need, according to their relation with God. And you are free to set up your self-effort to attain God realization. You do not have to snatch things from others. Or be upset by the progress of others. That's quality of contentment. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 𝗚𝗏𝗀 𝗚𝗀𝗃 𝗀𝗏. If you practice contentment, you experience a type of joy that is incomparable. The joy that you have not entered your mind as a result of comparison. It has entered your mind in a very healthy way. So, Shama, Santosh, Satsanga, third gate, good association. Good association, that's what you are doing, listening. In a world where so many wonderful things you could have listened to. You come out the way, put your shoes away, and you begin to listen to. This world doesn't exist. Nothing exists, nothing belongs to me. However, as you listen, you have something so inspiring, so touching, so enriching, that nothing in the world can give that to you. So that satsanga is a gateway to liberation. And finally, vichar. Vichar is a reflective mind. A mind that is open to understanding. Who am I? That understanding ultimately matures into liberation. To live your daily life not clouding your understanding, but allowing your understanding process to shine on until it blossoms. Fullness of understanding is union with God. Revelation, I am that. Intuitive realization. All these are attained by degrees. So your effort towards building up serenity, contentment, satsanga, and understanding mind, it should continue little by little, day by day. And likewise go on shutting those three doors. Kama, halfway, Krodha, 3/4, Loha, shut the whole thing, leave only a crack. Life is an interesting project. Shutting the three, opening the four. And with this I conclude. Om Shanti.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति।